Hi, everybody. I'm Scott Hoke. Welcome to Mecum Full Throttle. Today, as we bring you highlights of our coverage from Mecum Glendale from State Farm Stadium. Mecum's annual 5-day visit to the Arizona desert always delivers an impressive lineup of collector cars, and as you'll see coming up in the next hour, this year is no exception. Okay, here is Ferrari 2007 599 GTB. Wow.
Yeah, wow was right. This is during the time period where these front-engine Ferraris, every time a new one came out, it was faster than the one that preceded it. And this is a great example of this car. 6-liter, 611 horsepower V12, and that Formula One super fast 6-speed sequential transmission, which makes gear changes in around 1/10 of a second faster than the human being can. A little bit of a departure from a Ferrari red, but still, it's not some wild, crazy, over-the-top color. It still maintains that presence of a Ferrari. All right, here's one you can afford, everybody.
Exactly. Right here is a 76 308 GTB.
Yeah, the 308. That was the first mass-produced Ferrari. They built more of these than anything they had built up until this point. Pininfarina styling, built by Scaglietti. One of 712 of the GTB Vetricina fiberglass body models. Remember now, in case you're not familiar with these, they started with fiberglass bodies and then they moved to steel construction. Not an ultra-low mileage Ferrari. It's got over 44,000 miles on the odometer.
105, 105, 105,000 on a bid. 105, sir. I've got a bit of a 5. I've got a bit of a 7.5. I've got a bit of a 7.5 in water. In 5, I've got a bit of a 7.5. In a bit, I've got a bit of a 5 in 7.5. 105, 107.5. Yes or no? 107.5. 107.5. I've got a bit of a 7.5. I have sold 105. Sold 105,000.
How about that?
How about that? Congratulations to the consignor.
1-year only body style on this one, a 58 Corvette. Here's another top flight winner for you, Brother Bill.
Yeah, the dual 4-barrel 283 with 245 horsepower. There's a 270 horsepower version as well. 4-speed and 411 gears with positive traction. Boy, that sounds like a rock and roll song.
Top flight 58 Vet, Bill, 110, huh?
Oh, we have a winner, huh? Okay, this is a 454, 360 horse. So this takes us down from the LS6. And this was the lower horsepower version of that big block, 4-speed manual. Frame off restoration. And, for people who aren't familiar with that term, it's very simple. That car was completely disassembled, body off frame. And if there's any rust or anything in there that needs attention, well, that's the time to do it. And you take it even to the rotisserie restoration, and you put the platform of the car on a rotisserie, and you crank it around. You get to every nook and cranny of that platform. 12-bolt rear end, 331 posi, and the cowl induction hood. Another popular option. Fathom Blue, oh boy. That's a fave. Yeah, approaching $90,000 for the 360 horse version of the 454.
Yeah, that's real good money for the LS5. Absolutely.
This next car is a 1970 Chevelle LS6. A little bit different color combination than we are used to seeing on an LS6, Bill.
Yeah, it's going to sell more than the Z28 too, because this is the LS6, the 450 horse 454 with a 4-speed. Gobi beige, yes, Scott. That is a very over-the-top color for these cars with a gold interior.
I don't think I've seen a color combo like that is so tough in how it works with the whole appearance. That's just not, I think if I knew it had that much muscle, I don't think that's a color that I would be jumping for, but man, it really works.
A car in this color combination, Bill, you would think, oh, it's got a 307 in it, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, right.
A 1970 Nova Super Sport.
I'm sorry, I can't talk.
You're speechless?
Oh, people, look at this Nova. Now, we're not talking about one of those Yanko Novas or Motion Performance. This is a factory-built 70 Nova Real SS with that L78, 375 horse, 396, and a wide ratio M24 speed. Oh, this could rule practically any street or boulevard back in 1970. Not a car to be trifled with. 12-bolt posi with 355 gears, but that black paint, black interior, welfare wheels, raised white letter tires. Now you know why I'm speechless.
110,000. So
107.5.
Hey, I'm not surprised. And again, let me repeat, not a Yanko, not Motion Performance, not Nicky, not one of the aftermarket boutique builders. This is all GM from bumper to bumper, and we're into 6 figures plus.
It is rock solid. Well, Chip Foo's design, as Chris has pointed out before, 1933 Ford, nicknamed not impactful, Bill, but impact.
Yes, let's stay away from that word.
It's always been in the vault in the Peterson for a long time. If you've never been to the Peterson Automotive Museum, make sure to make the vault part of the things you see there. It wasn't always open to the public, but has recently been opened, and it's really the creme de la creme of the Peterson collection is down in the vault. Yeah, and you'll see, I mean, that signature, really swoopy front fender down into the rocker. I mean, that has Chip Foo's DNA written all over it. And continued into several of his Ritter Award winners that came after this car.
All right, that one heads to the phone. Daniel Hatchett, one of our consignment agents on the telephone there, taking care of the individual on the other end. 97,000 buys it. So we move to this nearly brand new GT350 2025.
Yeah, the 60th anniversary of the original Shelby GT350 in 1965. Real Shelby has the Shelby VIN in it as well. 562 were produced for 2025. If that sounds familiar, that's how many were built in 1965. Supercharged 810 horsepower, 5-liter V8. It's got the Shelby Borla catback exhaust, Brembo disc brakes, automatic transmission, by the way, and just the appearance and the stance and the overall intimidation factor on these Shelby Mustangs.
You know, it just occurred to me, Bill, as we see this sell for 125, we talk about horsepower, cubic inches, top speed, 0 to 60. But for you, I think a lot of these cars, the intimidation factor is big.
Well, look at me.
Here comes one of the legendary cars in the Corvette world of all time. And of course, it is the 1963 split window coupe. This one in ermine white, black interior. Check this car out.
Okay, that looks like the 340 horse 327 with the cast valve covers and the chrome air cleaner. 4-speed, ermine white, black interior. Power brakes, AM/FM radio, that was an option. All original.
So $130,000, Nick.
Another great example of a split window coupe selling here at Mecum Glendale for $130,000 on this spectacular Saturday. Here is an RS Z28 from 1969. What a package this is, Bill.
Okay, let's see what happens with this. See, already to $90,000. We sold one for $120, but this one has the Cross Ram 302. Yeah, now that's numbers matching powertrain in this, and it's interesting that when they put those 2 4-barrels on there, General Motors still rated those engines at 290 horsepower. If that's not horsepower hocus pocus, I don't know what is. This has got the rosewood steering wheel, the Endura bumper, front and rear spoilers, and of course the correct Hurst round bar shifter.
They're still working on it.
130 is bid. $135,000.
Okay, then.
That should do
Reserve
it.
is off.
Yeah.
$135,000. Anybody else? So $130,000. Nick Franklin.
Wow.
Here's Matt Morvick.
Here's a K5 Blazer. Let's see about that market on these, as you said earlier, Bill.
Yeah, you don't need me to tell you the quality of this restoration. Just look. Man, it's got the 350, the automatic, medium green, white. There's that Oreo paint job, Scott. Got the color on the top, and color on the bottom, and white in the middle. Yeah, the shops that either do the full restorations or the customization, some of them are 3, 4, 5 years out. People just waiting and willing to wait to get their truck done.
And a $125,000 gavel on this K5 Blazer.
Not a surprise.
One of our faves up next, 1957 Bel Air convertible. This also from the McCollman collection.
No expense spared on a frame-off restoration, which means a lot of money went into what you're looking at right now. It's got the 283 with the 4-barrel, and this one right back to factory spec. See the inside. Yep. Ever familiar interior there. Column shifted power glide. Chrome trim, all refinished, stainless.
Raskin 105. The cars for sale, 105,000 on a bid.
Anything that needed it, it got done.
You know, you've mentioned already about the 57 Bel Air in that category. They're all different. Well, this is unusual because of the fact that it's kind of back to the way it looked like. And I realize it's a total restoration, but it's kind of the back to stock.
Yeah, all the way.
You know, very cool.
Right.
In the meantime, a 1956 Corvette convertible. Well, they're all convertibles in the C1 generation.
Yes, sir. Well, there are certain levels of certification from the NCRS, and the top one that everybody lusts for their Corvette is the Duntov Mark of Excellence. This one has been given. Plus, NCRS Top Flight. NCRS Performance Verification Award. It's a matching numbers, 265 with 2 4-barrels, 225 horse. The standard 3-speed manual transmission, and to complete the drivetrain, 327 gears in the rear end. This is 1 year before Positive Traction became available. Radio delete, kind of a misnomer. Radios were not standard, so you could say that it is radio unequipped. Heater delete. Power operated convertible top. That's worth some money. How about $125,000?
Exactly. Yes, that is an important Corvette right there. Big dollar Corvette has arrived for us, Bill.
Oh, boy. Yeah, this is the Sunfire Yellow. My 66 427 Corvette was Sunfire Yellow, so I can really appreciate the look of this car. Redline tires with a side exhaust, the rally wheels, but the big headline, 427, 435 horse, L71 with the aluminum heads, making that the L89. M21 4-speed, 370 positive traction rear end. But the AM/FM radio, that was an option. Wood grain steering wheel, not wooden steering wheel.
So you get wood.
There.
So you get wood grain splinters if you're in a.
Oh boy, you're kidding. Would you just sit there for a minute?
That Stinger hood, very popular in Corvette mid-year customizations, regardless of the year.
Yep. What engine did your 66 have in it? Your Sunfire Yellow 66?
L72.
Oh, really?
425 horse, 427.
Okay.
I had 3 66s, all big blocks. 2 L72s, 1 L36, the 390 horse.
Right. Okay. 125. That's where we're up to now. Side exhaust looks so good on these cars.
They certainly did. They debuted in 65, and I can't imagine anybody with a Corvette from that generation that wouldn't want those pipes on their car, even if you had to retrofit them.
A 66 Shelby GT350H, not a replica here, real deal.
And you know what? Of the 1,000 that were built, this could be one of the best out there. I am not exaggerating. Listen up to the specs on this car. Original engine, Shelby Ford Mustang 6S 671. That's the 6 for 66, 1966, S for street, and 671 is the production sequence up to 1,000. Now, I've heard that number kind of shift back and forth by a couple of units, but we go with 1,000. and everything that needs restoration on this, refurbished, rebuilt, replaced, and done. Got the Shelby 9,000 RPM tack in it. And boy, those things got ripped out by a lot of street rats back in the day. If they could get their hands on one of those tachometers, they would. This car has it.
$135,000. Terrific car and a terrific collection that we are just in the early stages of. The Mile High collection, more than 20 cars here at Mecum Glendale. And if you've heard that collection before, yeah, they have brought many cars over the years to Mecum Auctions, and they always have their act together, Bill.
Yeah, and you know, when they're parked over there in the display area, always draw lots of people to take a closer look. This truck has a mere 35 miles on the odometer. Whipple supercharged, 5.2. Got the Shelby BDS suspension lift, 18-inch Shelby wheels. Got the big mud-terrain tires at 37 inches. The Baja Raptor hood. Got the intake, the extraction vents. Oh, dear. That may be too much truck for a lot of people.
I mean, they start with a Raptor R, which is already a beast of a vehicle, and then they turn it up. That's amazing.
Yeah, as that whole Raptor, F-150 Raptor generation continued each year, a little faster, more power, more attitude, and look at what you got here.
135. 132.
Is this the one that had the flat plane crank set up in it?
Good question. We know that the Coyote motors did. This may not be Coyote based 5.2, but we're going to get our best people on that.
Like it.
$132,500. We'll be back with more from Mecum Glendale coming up after this timeout. We are back in Glendale, and once again, let's head out to the auction block. Continuing with the Mile High collection and 1978 Land Cruiser, an FJ40.
Yeah, and this is, you know, where the whole FJ craze began. FJ40 Land Cruiser, 4.2-liter inline six, 5-speed manual. And this market has maintained a pretty good modicum of strength over the years, hasn't it? I'm thinking of what the MSRP on this may have been back in 1978, $1978. Could not have been a lot of money.
Right.
Congratulations. Yes, sir, you got it. 1993 Land Rover Defender 130.
Okay, $60,000 will buy it. And it's headed to the phone with Daniel Hatchett, our consignment agent, on the case over there. Well, right behind that FJ is Land Rover Defender 130 from 93.
Hey, Rutledge, have you ever done the Paris to Dakar?
No, but wouldn't this be fun to take it in?
I'm thinking we've got it.
I can tell you, this is the kind of vehicle that Chris and I have been talking about. We pass each other and say, oh, did you see this? Oh, did you see this? This was one of the ones we talked about. A real stout setup here. This has got the 2.5 turbo diesel, I believe, Bill. But it's a really well done restoration on this truck.
Yeah, inline 4-cylinder engine, 2.5 liter. We're not talking about a major powerhouse, but you know what? When you're going off-road or going across the sand or down the trails, unless you're going to do rock climbing, you know, this has got enough power to go anywhere.
Cracked six figures here.
7,500. 107,500. 110. 110. 110,000. 110. 110.
Yep.
115,000.
Well, there's enough desert around here that you could take it out and be home for dinner.
You know, really, you drive like maybe 5 miles out of Glendale.
120. No,
You know?
115 online. You got to be 120 now.
125. Tell me that. 125. Yeah. Thanks for the chair. 125. 120,000 bid. 125,000. Last call. 125.
No.
So 120.
Okay, that gentleman's going to take that one home. $120,000.
Michelle's coming to sign you up.
A 2019 Corvette ZR1, Bill.
Oh, I'm getting giddy here. The 3ZR Premium Equipment Package, as we're talking about packages. It's got the ZR1 Sebring Orange Design Package, ceramic brake rotors with orange calipers and the competition sport seats, carbon fiber throughout the car.
So $135,000 out.
$135 buys that ZR1. That seems like a pretty good deal, actually.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? Let me just check here. That's a car that only has about 4,400 miles on it. You're right.
Would you call that medium miles, or it's not super low mileage? I mean, we've seen under 100 on several occasions.
It's a 2019. It's 7 years old.
Yeah.
So that was not driven every day, I guarantee you.
Yep. Interesting. So 135 again buys that, and a 1970 Bronco is on the block and moving to our left. You're right.
Yeah, restored about a year plus. The guys at Unbroken Garage, oh, they did everything. Everything. I mean, we're talking about the paint, the body work. The powertrain's a 5-liter, 6R80 automatic transmission, Dana 20 transfer case. Got those Wild Horses 4-wheel disc brakes there with the Willwood Hydro Boost. That truck will stop. Pretty wheels on there, the deep dish, polished, slotted mags, raised white letter tires, Wimbledon white. Interior colors called walnut. Tilt steering column. Center console is all custom built. Yep, another 6-figure Bronco. Boy, they just keep getting better and better.
Guys, the bully has entered the play yard. Oh boy.
Here it comes.
Yep, this has been out on the, field level, roughly the 50-yard line here at State Farm Stadium all week. It's a 70 Chevelle LS6.
With the original 454, 450 horse big block in it. Triple black. M40 automatic, 410 positive traction rear end. That will throw you back into the seat in a hurry. All righteous here. Cowl induction hood, 5-spoke, super sport wheels. The wide oval tires, those Firestone wide oval tires that you could vaporize those in no time with that engine, trust me.
You know, Bill, you mentioned we could have an amazing custom truck show. How about the LS6 show we could have here with these lots that rolled across? And this would definitely be the centerpiece of that display.
Indeed, we've seen some that have had the 454 transplant. Now we have one here that came with the 454 from the factory. And
we saw that kind of a goby yellow odd color LS6.
That was a great one.
Love that.
LS6 71 Vet, I believe, that we had roll across yesterday.
67, what was it?
That 71 Vet that would have the LS6?
71 LS6, yes sir.
You got 116? Yes, no, Jim.
You got a good buyer laying in the weeds since that reserve comes off.
155.
Got 155.
That's the bid. They're considering it.
160.
157.5.
157.5. 160. You got interest in your car, sir? We'll keep working at 160,000. 157.5 is a current bid.
Did we have an LS6 El Camino?
Take it off.
160,000 to bid. 157.5. Last call. 116,000 to bid. 116,000 to bid.
Right.
Yeah,
I can do that. 157.5. Reserve is off.
Hey, the reserve is off here. Good news, everybody. 157.5 for the moment.
Yes or no? 116. Drake. What's he say? 116,000 to bid. Car off the block. 157.5. George, how about you guys? 116. 157.5. 116,000 on a bid. I'm going to bid 116 bid. 116,000. Sold 157.5. Sold 157,000.
Well,
Okay, 57.5. And a Bentley Continental GT is on the block next from 2020.
hey everybody, look at the new 2026 Bentley Continental GT. Well, you know, that really won't work now because they did change the styling on the new ones just a little bit, but oh boy, these cars will never be ugly. Azure purple, Hotspur linen on the inside, and the 626 horsepower W12 6-liter twin turbo. 8-speed dual clutch automatic. Oh, the gingerbread. The all-wheel drive powertrain. Ash veneer on the inside. Oh, the beautiful leather. Heated, ventilated, massaging seats. Man, that cost you $40 in Atlantic City.
145, 145, 145, 145. Go 140 behind you. 145
I don't know. Sometimes it just comes out.
We're going to need a Bill top 10 for the weekend.
That's good. Yes, we will. We're going to have a new category. We'll have our graphics team get on that right away.
Do closed captions. I don't know. Oh, look where we are bidding-wise. Heavily into six figures. Well, the car's only 6 years old, so
not surprising.
Not at all.
You know, the thing that strikes me visually is that purple and red is really not a color combination that we see too often, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll see it in person too. It's not quite purple and it's not quite red, so therefore they work together pretty well.
Good point. Good point. And 142.5. Why is that? Hey, Bill Stevens, I have one word for you on this car. Hennessy.
Oh, that guy. And he needs to be sedated, I'm telling you. John Hennessy, one of my heroes. He got his hands on this Mustang Dark Horse, and he gave it like 850 horsepower worth of vitamins, supercharged, 5-liter Coyote, 650 pound-feet of torque. Yeah, he'll do his handiwork on. Kind of like Ken Lingenfelter. He just loves a challenge.
One of one in this color, Venom Blue. Excuse me, Vapor Blue.
Yep.
And it brought $145,000. 67 L79.
L79, you got my attention. That was the most powerful hydraulic lifter 327 that Chevy had come up with at that time. And this one has it with the 4-speed transmission. Ermine white, bright blue interior. Now, a lot of people may not know that for a while, A.O. Smith was building the bodies in these mid-year Corvettes because GM couldn't keep up with them. And A.O. Smith was responsible for a lot of the fiberglass parts on the Shelby Mustangs. A little cross-pollination there. Odometer reads just over 58,000 miles. A lot of rebuilt parts and pieces. The reserve is offered at $120,000. And listen for the sound of the hammer.
There it is. You said it. 120 buys that car. Fuel-injected Nomad here. 1957.
Ooh, ride 'em cowboy. 505 horse, 427. And by the way, that is a small block base 427 from a 2010 Corvette, the LS7 engine. GM Performance electronic fuel injection. Took the body off to restore it. 4L65E, 4-speed automatic with overdrive. 9-inch Ford rear end. The Art Morrison chassis underneath there, that's about a $17,000 tab. So no expense spared. The Willwood disc brakes. Stainless steel suspension parts. Polished aluminum radiator from the folks at Be Cool and the Vintage Air Conditioning.
I tell you what, you mentioned that Art Morrison chassis, 17 grand, yes, but that is bulletproof, world class.
Oh yeah, it's the way that builders are going now. They get the Roadster shop chassis, the race shop chassis. I think Mark Williams might do a chassis too, although he's better known for running gear stuff. And yeah, Art Morrison.
Now 60, you're out, so there, 160. I've got 155,
Wonderbar radio, going to Ridge with that. US Mags.
Hey, the reserve comes off.
160 to you or 160 to you, Laura. I've got 155.
Yeah, glad to see this one sell too.
160, sir, do you want her? 160, yes or no? 60. Can't hear you. Did someone say something? 150. Are you talking to me? 155. Anybody else at 160? So, 155.
The guys that had the high bid were telling them to hammer it. Come on, do it. We want the car.
They got it. That whole row is happy with it. 155. There you go. Back with more from Glendale in just a moment. Welcome back to Mecum Full Throttle from Glendale, Arizona. 1966 Corvette Convertible. Big car here, Bill.
Oh, boy. Now you're in my wheelhouse, people. Tuxedo black, good start. Black interior. Bloomington Gold benchmark, 2016. That means this car can be used to evaluate other 66 Corvettes with the same equipment. Bloomington Gold Special Collection. It's a Survivor at Bloomington Gold. NCRS 4-star bow tie award. Okay, that's enough. There's more, but you get the idea. Beautifully restored and maintained. Not restored, original cars, benchmark, but what I want to say is all of the maintenance items been taken care of, like the brakes, fuel system, things like that. The only 66 Tuxedo black car to achieve a Bloomington Gold benchmark and NCRS bow tie award. Can you understand why I'm so excited, why I'm yelling at you?
There's not enough room on the paper on your list for everything. Wowzers.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
We talked yesterday about words that are overused in the vocabulary these days. Iconic is one that I hate.
Yeah, oh boy.
However, there are instances when it's appropriate, and this 57 Eldorado Baritz convertible, I think, is one of those.
I would say 10% of the times that the word icon or iconic is used, it's actually, worthwhile.
Accurate, yeah.
And you're right about this car here. The 57 Eldorado Baritz, this was the top of the line in 57. The 365 cubic inch, 325 horsepower engine with 2 Carter 4-barrel carburetors, the 4-speed hydromatic transmission. One of 1,800 that were produced in 57. That color is called Starlight Silver Metallic with a red leather upholstery. Very rare. And
reserve is off, by the way, Bill.
Yes, and not unexpectedly. We don't get many of these, and when we do, when they are in this condition, buy it now, because you don't know when you'll see another one like this.
There it is. The hammer drops at 185, and that's enough to bring that gentleman out of his chair. And we'll move to 1957 Bel Air next.
Oh, let me get my sunglasses. Ooh. Look at the shine on this Bel Air. Built by Hot Rod Dynamics. They went right through this. Dropped in a 5.7 LS6, 405 horse. Automatic with overdrive. Original steel body.
Give me 190. Give it one more try there.
Got to talk him into it like I had to talk. Oh, yeah, now you want me to go quick.
190?
Yeah, sure.
No?
I know how you guys are. Hey, sir, give me 190. I think I can get 200 out of him. Give 190. Give 190.
That's our man Paul Duck there with the guy who's thinking about 190.
Sometimes they'll go 187.5.
Yes.
No.
Hey.
Buck 90's up there.
195.
He did.
Give 195.
I'm out.
Hey, tell him he needs to give
I'll tell you
195.
what, sir, I'll make you a deal. You give 195, I will not ask you again. If he bids 200, I won't even come back to you.
Hey, no, here's the deal. He won't even come back to you if he doesn't bid.
195, if he bids 200, I won't.
He won't even come back. Let's give 195.
If he doesn't bid, you're going to own it. If
Hey.
not, he's going to be driving your car.
That's all right.
Hey, give 192.5.
190.
One more time.
195.
I think he means it. 195?
Yeah.
One time?
I agree.
Want it?
There is a thing called peer pressure here for sure.
Textbook.
$200,000.
200?
I'll make you the same deal. You bid 200, I won't ask you again.
Give 200.
Give 200. Yes? Anybody else?
What's he gonna do?
Yeah.
What do you think, Craig? One last try?
If you give $200,000, you'll never forget what you paid for it.
There you go.
You'll always remember that you beat this guy. 200.
One last shot, sir.
So, $195,000.
That's pretty cool. The guy who was so certain he was
Done.
We'll drive that one home.
For a car that maybe has 300 in the build, so he's coming out way ahead.
A guaranteed big money car is on the block now here at Mecum Glendale. It is none other than a 1969 Mustang Boss 429.
Oh, what a great story behind these cars. We don't have the time to get into it, but a company by the name of Carcraft responsible for getting out the WD-40 and a shoehorn and getting that 429 down into the engine room. Had to do some re-engineering on the front suspension, but they did it. Now, this car, Carcraft number 2017, documented, original black jade paint, original black interior, original door plate. That's the plate going along the rocker panel. Those usually get scuffed up and scratched. So those are original, and the original Space Saver spare tire. And of course, the 429 rated at 375 horsepower, made more than that, and it was a homologation motor so that Ford could use that 429 when they went racing.
So $270,000 sold.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's your new owner.
This is a 1969 Dodge Daytona, already at $200,000, and we're just getting started, barely.
Yeah, and I think Chris gave us a look at this yesterday, and I'm pretty familiar with the roots of this car. Sold new at Holland Dodge in Greenville, Massachusetts. Original paperwork, including the broadcast sheet. Power, it's got that base 440, 375 horse with the 4-speed manual. Extensive restoration completed 3.5 years ago by Smothers Supercars in Talala, Oklahoma.
When you get to see one up close, you really see those lines and the shape, all the aero tricks they were trying to use.
Yep.
So impressive.
Well, you know, the Charger 500 didn't work out very well prior to this car, and then Chrysler brought in all their aerospace engineers from their other division and said, we need to do something with this car to make it competitive on the super speedways, and guys from aerospace came up with that nose cone and that wing and the flush rear glass, and boy, did that change the game.
So $300,000, Clint Hunter.
Okay, another six-figure car here, guys. No reserve, $300,000.
First one of these, I think, that we've encountered here in Glendale.
You are right.
Yeah, and I don't think I really need to tell everybody what we're looking at, because these cars have become so familiar to everybody. The 6-cylinder engine, the Power Glide transmission. This is number 103 of the 300 that were built in '53. They all were white with red. This is a top flight car, too, and that kind of puts it a cut above a lot of the other ones that we see come to Mecum.
I wonder how many of the 300 that still are around have that top flight designation. Not many.
No, I would say not many.
Reserve is off on this one.
It made reserve.
All right, thank you.
Man.
Appreciate it.
We're told this was a barn find car that was purchased from an estate sale, and it underwent a 2,000-hour
yes, it did.
restoration.
Yeah, good point.
Oh, Bill. Don't look down, brother. We have a 65 GT350 on the auction block. It is not a replica. It is the real thing, brother.
Relatively early car. SFM 5S192 is the VIN. Shelby Ford Mustang 5 for 1965. S for street. 192, the production sequence, one of 521 street GT350s produced that year, the debut year. What a car. Boy, when these cars debuted, I remember it well. I was a little Shelby freak. I was a teenager. I bought the keychains, the T-shirts, the posters.
Everything except the cars.
The slot cars, yeah. You know what? They were about $5,000 in 1965.
Yeah.
And you couldn't get a Galaxy puffed out to $5,000. These were expensive cars in 65. 65, 66, 67.
Reserves off.
Oh, someone just stole a Shelby.
Wow.
And there may still be more bidding on it. They put that Borg-Warner 4-speed in there. Pete Brock came up with that paint scheme. And the next thing you know, this is a car that just set the sports car world on its ear.
Okay, everyone, take a deep breath. And be prepared to watch the bidding go pretty high on this car. 2018, I think that may be an understatement. 2018 Ford GT.
And you know, Scott, how we always say that a good way to gauge the value of a Ford GT from any of the previous generations from 2005 up, you look at the odometer. This one, 567 miles.
So, $700,000.
And it hammers right there at $700,000.
Coming down the lane.
This is one of the cars, perhaps the car, that put Lamborghini on the performance map.
You're right. Now, I want to point out one thing that Shannon actually noticed yesterday. The eyelashes on these headlamps is a very easy way to identify what era of Miura it is. From 66 to 71, they were on there on the 400Ps and the S's, and then later on the SV version in 1971 to the end of the run, they were not there. So, quick way to identify which generation of Miura you're looking at. I so much prefer the eyelash version.
Yeah, and that color scheme, too, that really leaps out at you. That Verde Miura, the green hue with the blue interior. That's kind of a wild combo. Yeah, and this has got that 3.4-liter, 350 horsepower V12, one of only 6 that were finished in this color, one of only 762 that were produced during that run between 67 and 73. This one was displayed about 15 years ago at the Concours Italiano out in Monterey. 5-speed manual, a 180-mile-an-hour car, believe me.
And shout out to probably the godfather of wedge design, Marcello Gandini, who of course is responsible for this car and many, many other iconic wedge vehicles.
And the Countach.
Including the Countach. Yep. Not sure if the camera is showing what a bright blue interior this is. It might look a little darker, but the contrast between that bright blue and the Verde exterior is so cool.
Yeah, it's bright blue, all right.
And folks, the reserve is off.
Yay.
$600,000 if you want it. $1,550,000. $1,600,000. Final call. Anybody else? $1,550,000. $1,600,000.
Poetry in motion.
Makes some noise. So,
legendary car all day long. $1.55 million, and we've got a terrific Lamborghini Miura that is going to that gentleman right there. There are Shelby Cobras in the house here in Glendale, and this is one of the premier Shelby Cobra Roadsters, 1966 427.
Back in 1966, the 427 in the Cobra was 2 years old. It began with 427s, like that one, the side oiler. Then they switched to 428s before they went back to 427s. So this car right here was on the back end of that because of the chassis number. The 3355 tells you that they were kind of getting close to the end of the road. This is a wide-hipped street car. Now you see the big wide fenders in the back. Those were really designed for racing. And what the previous owner or the current consignor did was put racing-sized wheels and tires in the back to fill out the wheel wells. I love that because with the Sunburst street version wheels, there's just too much space in the rear wheel wells, and this corrects it. Of course, it's a 4-speed manual like they all had. The top loader from Ford, the knockoff wheels. Those are the pin drive wheels, which would have been an upgrade on the street cars back then. As I mentioned, the Sunburst wheels were the ones that most street cars came with. So we're at $1,650,000, and I'm beginning to smell that reserve coming off.
Me too. I've got a feeling. We knew it was a 7-figure car all day long.
Yep.
We got $1,675,000.
I mean, that's original. It's got the correct everything. You saw the splitter in the front grill opening there.
Oh, there it is.
Bada boom.
You were right, Bill.
Guys, we see a lot of the replicas come through here, but when you see an original one, it really is exquisite.
Oh, boy, you said a mouthful, pal. Especially one in this condition, at this level of restoration.
Anybody else? $1,675,000. $1,700,000.
1,675.
Hey, Gibb.
Yep.
So
MSRP about $6,000. And you know, they didn't sell the last one until almost 1968.
Coming down the lane, a lot of S1s.
That's true. A lot of holdovers.
Yep.
But today, this one sells $1.675 million. That's going to put a wrap on this edition of Mecum Full Throttle. I'm Scott Hoke. Thanks so much for watching, and so long from Glendale, Arizona.